What is up, homies? Christian back at it again with a Twin Suns action figure close-up. And today I have for us something very different. Something I've never done on this show before, and this is a vehicle, as you can see. Today we are looking at the Hasbro Star Wars Vintage Collection, Tatooine Skiff. And as you can see here, it's obviously the Vintage Collection. So we got this classic vintage box art. Very nice looking. You can see here, so no figures are included, but you know, like classic vintage boxes, they have a bunch of figures on the skiff. They don't come with it. It's also a little odd because I feel like normally you usually get one figure packed in, but we get none here. None of the drivers, no Lando, no Luke, no one. But you can see we got some really nice box art here in the front. Let me see if I can do this side. You got just some more shots. Really good photography they've done with this. And over here, this says Tatooine Skiff, Esquife de Tatooine. In the back, we get the exact same image. So, it's the exact same thing on the front and on the back. There's pretty much nothing on the sides here. I can't really show them too well. Let me see. See here, this shows some more shots of the skiff. And so it comes in the box, completely unassembled pretty much. It takes only like 5 minutes of assembly and stuff. But I was impatient, I'm not gonna lie, and I've already put it together. So as you can see here, it's a fairly large, it's a lot bigger than the old Power of the Force skiff. It's a lot more detailed. You can tell that just right off the bat. I actually did not have any 3 3/4 inch figures here in the studio to compare with, but I had last week's figure, which is 6 inch, so just sort of a scale. Here is a 6 inch figure lying down. So you can see the length of it. It's probably about a foot long, maybe a little longer. And let me say, they have put in a lot more detail into this than I ever thought they would have, to be honest. I've seen the original one. If you've seen it too, you know it's not the most detailed toy and detailed vehicle that they put out, but it was of the time, you know. That thing came out, I believe, maybe even in the late 90s that came out. So this was a long overdue upgrade. Came out last year. I'm a little late to the party, but overall it was a long overdue upgrade. And they really took their time. They did a good job. So I mean, you can just see here that paint work, that paint app on there, the sculpting on here. Very, very, very well done. Just all the details on here. You can tell this was done as a companion piece to the barge because they put the same amount of effort into the paint apps on this thing. You guys can just see, very well done. They put a lot of highlights, a lot of dry brushing, a lot of wash. And speaking of details, it looks like those are almost holsters where you can put like spears or something in. And this, speaking of details, actually comes off. The entire base rotates too. You can see it's covered, but they put a lot of detail into this spot that can be covered. It almost makes me want to not cover it. Display with like a figure looking like he's repairing it or something. A lot of sculpting work here. Even the floor has sculpting on down there. See with that grid pattern there at the bottom. A lot of nice sculpting work done. The hoses here, they actually have a different piece too. So it doesn't have the hoses there. And it's got the rest of this, you know, put together and stuff. Just, you can see that they've dry brushed the hoses. There's a ding there that they dry brushed over. Put some highlights on there. Down here, they have a cover, but I had the cover removed already. The camera would work with me here. There we are. So you guys can see they put a lot of detail into there. almost like another mechanical bay. You can have a figure down there looking like he's repairing it or something along those lines. They have more like spear holsters on the side, almost looks like a air vent there too underneath it. Put a lot of detail into this. You see the paint apps over there. And there is quote unquote articulation to this. So these move. This moves independently, as you can see. This moves independently and moves in and out, as you can see. Very nicely done. This too. These are individually, you can go them up or down. So you can actually have a guy look like he's almost like turning the skiff. It's very nicely done. And I mean, it's the skiff, so this does come out. And you can see, you even put a paint app on that. Did a dry brush on that as well. So it's not all just the same flat texture. There are more paint apps on this skiff than I think than any Black Series I've ever seen. You know, a lot of people complain that they don't give the vintage collection enough love because they don't do enough releases. But I kind of disagree on the don't give enough love, because I feel like the vintage collection, they definitely pay a lot more attention to detail on things like this. I mean, you can just see with this skiff right here, this isn't even like the sail barge or anything. This is just a retail skiff. You can get this anywhere. But yeah, you know, you can get this anywhere. And just the amount of paint apps on here. So we can get this in here. Focus. In the front, that everything has a dry brush. Everything has something interesting to look at on every inch of this vehicle. The texturing on it, the sculpt work on it, everything about this vehicle is very well done. But you know, I have not taken a look at the bottom of it. So let's flip it over. Even the bottom has a dry brush over the entirety of it, giving it a nice metallic, rustic, worn look. That's amazing. The base, very well done. You can see it's like that sandy, it's kind of textured, almost like a plastic rock, and it goes in there. And the base, I really like what they've done. They put on like rockers, so it can actually like almost like it's turning like a motorcycle, you know, where it leans to turn rather than like turning a front wheel. So a little bit of a shorter video for you guys this week. I just really wanted to show off this skiff. I think it's really well done. And I kind of just wanted to show off the details and the paint apps that Hasbro went through and put on it. I think it's very well done. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have one. I think if anyone loves vintage collection, they need to get this. If you love Return of the Jedi, you obviously need to get this. This is amazing. And honestly, this is just, I think, one of the best vehicles Hasbro has ever made. The amount of attention to detail they have placed. I know I just keep saying that over and over again, but this is one of the best vehicles I think Hasbro has ever made with all the detail they put into it. It's something so basic, something they could have just glossed over, put it out real quick, just thrown one together like it seemed like they did back then. And just whatever. Yeah, we got the skiff out, companion piece for the sail barge, whatever. People who don't get the sail barge, something a little satiate them in a way. They're all good. But they didn't. They took their time. They made it sure it looks just as good as that. And I think this just, it really shows. It really shows how much Hasbro's paid attention. So, paid attention to us too. Just, you know, they paid attention to the vehicle, all the detail. They paid attention to us asking for this. Because I feel like fans have been asking this for a long time. We've needed an updated one, especially when the barge came out. What was that, 2 years ago now? A lot of fans were asking for this. They listened. They listened and they did their jobs well. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have one. Until next week, may the force be with you. Alright guys, I already know I signed off for the week, but a little bonus. I just realized as I was looking at it after I was recording, this came off. I just noticed little tabs there. So they don't even advertise this piece coming off. Look at that. You can see the engine work in there. They put a whole like bronze dry brush wash too over all of it. Especially pair it with taking that off. Oh man, that is awesome. It almost makes me want to not even display it put together with figures on it. I almost just want to keep it displayed with all the panels ripped off so you can see these inner workings of this machine. Oh man, they put a lot of time and effort in this. This looks great. All right, I just needed to show you guys that. I just noticed that after I finished recording. So now, until next time, may the force be with you.